Rev up your engines!
Well, I learned something. There was a woman in Florida, I believe, and she was mad because her neighbor kept parking and blocking the driveway. So they put up a no parking sign in front of their own driveway and said no parking to keep people from parking. And the neighbor got mad at her. He was having parties all the time because his friends were all blocking the driveway. Well, the law is, I never realized this, but you can't even block your own driveway legally. You can't block driveways. And a lot of it has to do with safety. The police can't get in and out if there's some kind of emergency, an ambulance can't go in. You're not even allowed to legally block your own driveway in most states, right? So I never knew that blocking a driveway is illegal in the United States due to the limiting of access for any kind of emergency, be it fire. For example, in San Francisco, blocking a driveway, you can get a $286 fee for towing and a $110 ticket. And then there was a case of another guy in Florida, and he was in a homeowners association, right? And they have all kinds of rules. They wouldn't even let him park his own car in his own driveway. They didn't like the way it looked. And it turns out they had rules. Learn the rules, especially if you're going to live in a neighborhood that has a homeowners association. You need to learn the rules. Read them before you buy the house. You might find there's all kinds of crazy rules that people can enforce that, take your freedom away. I personally would never live in a place where they had rules that tell you what to do, what you can't do. My mother-in-law lived when they even told you what color you could paint the house. You couldn't put a boat in your driveway. You'd have to put a fence around it in the backyard. Read the laws before you buy, because if you don't like it, it's too late when you're stuck in there. Well, it looks like GM is working on a special electric motor for smaller electric vehicles that can have a good range and combined range, power, and acceleration so that they're not race cars, but that they're usable. Now, most of the battery electric vehicles today use what are called radial flux motors. And they work pretty good. They put out a lot of power. But they cost a lot of money and they use a lot of energy. Instead of radial flux, GM's working on axial flux, which is a different type of system. In this new system, they have mechanical field weakening, which increases the speed of an electric motor at the cost of torque. So they're working on a system that's kind of like a CVT transmission. Therefore, turning these little electric motors more into electric motors with a transmission system. The other ones are more or less direct drive. And this is a new idea that, hey, they won't be extremely fast accelerating vehicles. So this would be for small, cheaper, little runabout cars, which of course makes the most sense for electric cars anyways. They're not made for long ranges, regardless of the nonsense they try to tell you. They lie about ranges they don't actually have. But if this technology comes out, hey, it'd be a big deal. Now, it's only in the incipient stages. These are patents and stuff that GM has applied for, right? And as I say over and over again, you'd be a fool to buy an electric car today because we don't know what technology might come up in the future that will radically transform it. Maybe this, instead of radial flux, they have axial flux motors. If it works, it could be a game changer for small electric cars. Now, as it stands and what they're working at today, it's not really going to work with big vehicles because they need a lot of torque. It's a different design. It's kind of like similar of regular gasoline motors and Atkinson cycle motors. Atkinson cycle motors are often used in hybrids because they get better gas mileage. They don't have the power of a regular engine, of a regular gasoline engine. They're Atkinson cycle engines. They get better gas mileage. But they can be used in hybrids because the extra power of the electric motor more than compensates for the loss that you get by using Atkinson cycle, right? So this kind of is like the idea of an Atkinson cycle for electric motors. And if it does pan out, hey, it could be a game changer, which is, like I said, don't buy an electric car now. Wait, who knows what battery technology will come out? Who knows what motor technology will come out? And if you're stuck with the old stuff that doesn't work, you're SOL, then of course, if the old stuff doesn't work as good as the new stuff, they won't supply parts for the old stuff. Mechanics won't fix the old stuff. Wait, if you're thinking about buying an electric car. Now here's something I can't wait for in technology. There is a revolutionary night vision that they claim is just a thin coating that they can put on your glasses so you can see at night. Now, my son's got those night vision goggles, and they're cool as can be, but they're a heavy unit with a battery you wear on your head. This company, TMOS, the Arc Center of Excellence for Transforming Meta-Optical Systems. Boy, no wonder they call themselves TMOS. What a poorly chosen name. Too long. TMOS is better, right? It's a piece thinner than plastic wrap, that they can coat your glasses with. Now, it's not out for public consumption, of course, yet. You know, they always come up with these great things, and then you find out, gee, they either don't work or they cost too much money. But if they do, that'd be something for old geezers like me. So when I'm driving down the road at night, I'd be able to see with night vision. Instead of weighty and bulky and having batteries and everything in your head, it's just a thin film on your glasses. These night vision filters weigh less than a gram. You can see visible and infrared spectrum at the same time. Safer at night, walk at night, you can see things better, right? Now, if you're wondering how it works, you got to be a scientist, because here's how it works. It uses a non-local lithium niobate metasurface. Whatever the heck that is, well, the scientists have figured out a way of coating lenses so that you can see better at night. It's pretty interesting. Now, if you're really into science, you can read the article, just Google it, Enhanced Infrared Vision by Nonlinear Up Conversion and Non-Local Metasurfaces, and you probably won't understand half the words they're talking about because they're scientists. Hey, if they invent that bar, I'm going to be the first one buying them. All the old people will be happy. They can see at night, and they can drive. Hey, I'm all for this one. Well, now they're going after old Elon Musk for insider trading. Like, who didn't expect this, right? They're accusing him of improperly selling $7.5 billion in Tesla stock before a weak sales report that crashed its price. Between November 4th and December 12th, Elon sold 41.5 million shares of Tesla stock. Not long after an October 19, 2022 earnings call in which he told investors, I can't emphasize enough, we have excellent demand. That made the stock go up. He said, oh, we got excellent demand for quarter four. But when Tesla reported the actual fourth quarter sales later, they were far weaker. It sent the stocks down 12%. The worst day of trading they had in more than 2 years. So he first says, oh, we're doing great. You know, don't worry about fourth quarter. And then the fourth quarter comes out and it's worth, the stock goes. If that isn't insider trading, because in between he sold 41.5 million shares of the stuff, right? How that gets away with stuff. But of course, as we know in this country, there's one law for most of us. And for the rich, there's other laws. They play their own games, have their backdoor deals. I mean, let's face the facts. Most of Wall Street is done by insider trading. Come on now. The big boys are all talking back and forth. And make sure you don't write it down or send an email. Just have it in a sealed room so nobody knows what's going on. I mean, the whole thing is based on insider trading, practically, you know, or rumors of inside, like him. He rumored, oh, we got great fourth quarters. Then he starts selling his stock, and then the fourth quarter comes out and it's crappy, and the stock takes a dump, right? I hope they go after him, but you know how that goes. They'll probably, if they do catch him, they'll slap him in the wrist twice or something, right? There's laws for us, the regular people, and then there's the laws for the rich. I hope they go after him and catch him on this, but we all know it's going to end. Nothing's going to happen to the guy. They saber rattling, you know. We got to make it looks bad, so let's rattle some sabers for a while, right? Let's see what really happens. You know, real insider trading. Hey, look what happened to Martha Stewart. She ended up going to prison, right? You know, we're not going to see old Elon going to prison. He got too much money. Well, the battery guys are at it again. A Chinese battery developer says they now have cell technology that they are making that can reach almost full charge in under 10 minutes. And it's not cattle. It's Goshen High Tech. That's a rival of cattle. It's a Chinese battery making company. They claim that they have two batteries that can be rapidly charged. One is called the 5C G current. It can be replenished to 80% in 9.8 minutes and 90% in 15 minutes. And it's made for electric vehicles. This isn't some experiment. It's actual batteries that they can put in cars. Then they have another battery that can go from 10% to 70% in 9 minutes. And they also have technology they claim that can dissipate 70% of the heat outside the battery pack within 3 seconds. So if it's getting too hot, it will dissipate the heat outside and not cause a fire. That's a big problem with batteries. They get too hot, they can start on fire, right? I mean, as I said, there's all this technology that may or may not pass. Maybe this technology will work. They won't start on fire because of this new cell technology. They'll charge up faster. Yeah. But these aren't in mass-produced cars yet. Wait till they're out for a while, see if they work, see if they're all burning down, see if they really do charge up. Maybe they do charge up from 10 to 80% in 9.9 minutes, right? But then maybe that they run out of charge and break down within a year or two, because the faster you charge a battery, the faster it wears out, right? This is why they always say charge to 80%, because 80 to 90% takes a long time, and that really degrades the battery. So a lot of this stuff is smoke and mirrors as it stands today. Oh, yeah, charge it up to 80% in 9.8 minutes, right? Yeah, but go to 80 to 100, boom, the batteries are going to wear out faster. So electric cars have a limited range. then if you're going to limit it 30% more, because if you go to 80%, they don't go under 10%. So that means you only have 70%. So whatever they say the range is, you can knock 30% off that in real driving, because you're generally not going to charge it over 80%, and you're generally not going to let it go under 10%. So you lose the 30% of the range right there. So a lot of this stuff is just myth. This thing actually works, and it's out for a few years. What do you know? Maybe it's going to really make electric cars be more of a viable thing. You still got to get the infrastructure, where's the electricity come from, and such and such and such. But this technology is still at an incipient age. Wait till they have the motors perfected. Wait till they have the charging perfected. Wait till they have the batteries perfected. They got a long way to go. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.